Good afternoon, and welcome to another Wednesday webinar. My name is Dr. Ken Stewart, and I will be your presenter for today. During this webinar, if you have any questions, you can jot it down and save it till the end. After the presentation, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this topic. So let's get started. In late August, early September, I was thinking of topics for the October webinars, and the question came to my mind as we start preparing for the holidays was, where did Halloween come from? And how does candy connect to this holiday or to Halloween? So to answer those two basic questions, among others, I would like to present on the topic hollow cavities. Hollow cavities. During this webinar, we will answer what is Samhain, what's in a day, what is All Souls Day, Coming to America, Candy Day, its origin, and finally, I will conclude with this webinar with a conclusion or recommendations. So what is Samhain? Defined as summer's end, Samhain is marked as the end of summer, kicking off the Celtic New Year. The Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago in the area now called Ireland, celebrated their New Year on November 1st. November 1st, ushering in a new year, signaled a time of both death and rebirth. This is doubly symbolic because it coincided with the end of a bountiful harvest and the beginning of a cold and dark winter season that would present plenty of challenges. Celts believed that on the night before the New Year, October 31st, the boundaries between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. They celebrated Samhain, a belief that the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth. To commemorate the event, Druids built huge sacred bonfires where the people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. Celts wore costumes typically consisting of animal heads and skins. By 43 AD, the Roman Empire conquered the majority of Celtic territory. In the course of 400 years, two festivals of Roman origin were combined with the traditional Celtic celebration of Samhain. The first was Feralia, a day in late October when the Romans commemorated the passing of the dead. The second was a day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. In May 609 AD, Pope Boniface IV dedicated the Roman temple in Rome to honor all Christian martyrs, and the Catholic feast of All Martyrs' Day was established in the Western Church. Not long after, Pope Gregory III later expanded the festival to include All Saints and moved the observance from May 13th to November 1st. By the 9th century, the influence of Christianity gradually blended with and supplanted old Celtic rites or rituals. All Saints' Day celebration was also called All Hallows, then changed to All Hallows Even or Eve, eventually Halloween. And that's how we got the word Halloween. Coming to America. The celebration of Halloween was limited in colonial New England, like the Boston area, New York area, up in the Northeast. But it was more common in Maryland and the southern colonies. In the second half of the 19th century, America was flooded with new immigrants. These new immigrants, especially the millions of Irish fleeing the Irish potato famine, helped to popularize the celebration of Halloween nationally. In 1000 AD, the church made November 2nd All Souls Day, a day to honor the dead. It is widely believed that the church was attempting to replace the Celtic festival of the dead with a related church-sanctioned holiday. This day was celebrated similarly to Samhain with big bonfires, parades, and dressing up in costumes as saints, angels, and devils. In Europe, poor citizens would beg for food, and families would give them pastries called soul cakes in return for their promise to pray for the family's dead relatives. Borrowing from these traditions, Americans began to dress up in costumes and go house to house asking for food or money. Sound familiar? That's where we got our trick-or-treating from. Americans buy approximately 600 million pounds of candy for Halloween every year. Long ago, when families were participating in trick-or-treating, parents were looking for an organized activity to keep youngsters out of trouble. And by the late 1940s, passing out treats were established as an alternative to tricks. Once candy companies realized trick-or-treating was here to stay, they capitalized on the holiday. We need to be careful with candy because, number one, our kids will eat the candy if given the opportunity. Secondly, bacteria that's in our mouth burns the sugar that is left in the tooth from the candy. That creates acid as a byproduct. The acid then dissolves tooth enamel, which is what causes cavities, which can be hollow. Chewing candies, including gummy candies and taffy, are among the worst offenders because they linger and stick around in your mouth, giving them additional time to cause tooth decay. So if at all possible, opt for healthy Halloween treats, which can be found all over the internet. So you can search healthy options, healthy candy options. You will get a plethora of different options to consider. Here are some suggestions as we prepare for October 31st. If going trick-or-treating, go on a full stomach. Instead of trick-or-treating, have a special dinner. Include popcorn and nuts into candy bowls to help reduce sugar consumption. Well, this concludes our webinar for this week. Thank you for taking the time to connect with me. Now, I'm going to open up the floor to answer any questions that you may have regarding this topic. Feel free to type your question or questions using the GoToWebinar tab that says questions, and then once you press send, I can see it and try to answer this question for you.